It's been one of those days, guys. I am dragging. And I did not run the big red machine today. I need to make not a repair, an upgrade to the oiling system. If you recall the calamity I had with it back in the wintertime, the chickens have come home to roost. Is that who roosts something? All right, we got to fix that. I'm going to show you what I got going on. I'm not going to be able to hold the camera and fix it all at the same time. And I have been busy. This pile is getting down low, guys. The original pile came out past these runners. Where are they at? Right here. And I've gotten it back pretty far. And I asked log hauler Jesse, when he is driving by one day, he's going to come in here and pull some of these logs down, because man, they're kind of scary when you get up there with the tractor. But these are muddy, but I've been dealing with the mud. My practice is I fork them over here and I drop them on the ground, and that helps get some of the mud off. There's still like that, like a coating of dusty kind of mud, not like caked on mud, but I try to clean it off as much as I can. But it is going through the chains, you know, it's dulling the chains a lot faster than what I'm used to. And while I'm doing all of the pile, the skinnies I'm pulling out and I'm just laying these off to the side, because my plan is I'm going to put the 4-way in and just run all these at one time. So instead of putting these on a table with big logs, which is what I got it set up for now, I'll just run all of these at the same time. I will swap out the perfect split for the 4-way, and then I'll probably run a load of oak through there too, because I want bigger pieces of oak now, because that's what the restaurants want. If these were residential deliveries, I would probably go to the 6-way perfect split to split the oak, just to help it dry out. You know, that oak doesn't season well here in Ohio. And it's getting late here in the evening, and that's why I'm back to work on this oiler. It's been a while since we've talked. Let me just give you a quick tour. I got my container. I love the container, and it's with my lights. This I have an idea for, and I think I was going to put firewood in here, but right now I think I'm going to leave these open, because this might be useful for snow removal. If we do get a lot of snow in here in the wintertime, where am I going to put it? And this might be an area where I can get it shoved up into in here. I don't know. It's just a thought. I'm going to leave those open for right now. I don't need that space just yet, but one day I might. This is my new area I call Oakland. So that is roughly 2 cords of oak, split and stacked. And it is nice looking stuff. This is all for my oak restaurants. And I don't know, guys. That smell, it still smells. That sun's killing me, man. Okay, this is the drying yard. We got some firewood. This cherry was getting dried out, and I had a friend who needed some cherry, and I felt comfortable taking that to him. Firewood. My friend Dale from the Firewood Hut, check him out on YouTube. He brought me up another load of pallets. These are all 9-footers. They just work great. These are the big logs. These are the big logs that are too big to go through the 405. Too big, too crooked, too nasty. Those are 2 gum logs. I just set them off to the side. These are rejects. These will be going into my boiler at home, the Eastonmade axis. My plan, guys, is to move the axis right here. My thought is I'm going to have this to be the production area for the chainsaws and the big logs. So this is all going to get delivered out. These are the logs left over from the open house that the woodhounds came out and made all that firewood. So that's almost all gone. This was a load of beech. If you remember that beech log I ran through That was kind of exciting to run a beach log through the 405. So this area is going to be the pizza oven wood. My pizza oven wood's going to be mostly coming off the axis. The pizza ovens really don't care about the appearance. So if it's a little ragged, if it's a little bigger or a little misshapen, they're not going to care. They just want it to burn. So my thought though was to put all of my splits in here. The reason is, guys, I'm going to have, this is a 10 cord section. I'll have another one pretty much in line with the totes and where the axis is, because that's all going to get moved up here. I'm going to need space to be able to back in to here. And that's going to be too tight of a turn if I need to get my trailer back in there. One of my pizza ovens, I use my trailer, so I'm going to have to be able to get my trailer back in there. So I'm just going to create some extra space for me, because I know I can fit another 10 cord section right here. And that will allow me to be able to get back into here to get my trailer loaded going forward. So all my big logs, they're going to be processed there, and the conveyor is going to be dangling in this area and to be stacked. And this is my waste pile right now. Don't have a plan for that, but one day I hope to. And I know I'm leaving money on the table back there, but I have been pulling out the small pieces that I can sell for kindling. And kindling is a good add-on sale. If you package it nicely, you know, you can add another $10, $12, $15, depending on what I'm going to charge for it this year. I can add that to a delivery, or if I have 2 quarters going out with 2 kindlings, guys, that's my week's gasoline in just one one kindling sale. Okay, so we're heading up to the 405. Let me turn this around again. This is how I'm set up. So my typical procedure is I will run a trailer full of logs, and then I get my tractor out of the container. I load up the next load of logs onto the live deck. Then I hitch up, and then I pull my trailer on the racetrack down and around. And then I usually, in the summertime, I let it sit there until the evening. I come back and load it. The reason I've been loading my table before I move the trailer is because I am just trying to do what's best for the tractor. I don't have to get it warmed up and cooled down twice. I just do it all at one time. So I load my live deck. I also think it's kind of psychological too. When that live deck is loaded, man, life just becomes easier, because all I got to do now is just turn a key and I'm ready to run logs. You know, when I get here in the morning, I don't have to get the tractor out and load the table. So I do my best to get the live deck loaded the day before, and then I'll run a load of logs. I usually run at least 1 load a day, not every day, sometimes 2. But, you know, the bottleneck for me is stacking. And that's just what I'm going to be doing. I have to stack my wood. I still think there might be a solution out there, but it's not cost effective, at least the way I see it is the way I see it right now. So stacking it is. I know there's a lot of other things out there, guys, but I have said this before, and until I'm proven otherwise, the best thing that we do with our firewood here is we stack it. It is worth every second that you invest into the process of stacking wood. You get it back plus more when you sell it. It just adds that much value to your firewood. Okay, so let's turn our attention to the 405. We are on the back side of the 405, and part of my design, I left this open enough so I can get my tractor in here so that I can fork out these bladders and take them down and dump them. That was something I had figured out at my old wood yard, where I didn't have any room behind my machine to get in here and move these totes out. So lesson learned there. I've applied what I've learned to this yard, and it's working out great. So here we are on the back side of the machine, and this has an access door, and this allows you the ability to change the chain from this side. I have found that too difficult because I want to hold the ratchet in my right hand, even though I'm left-handed. So I changed the chain from the other side. And this is the oiler right here. It is controlled with the hydraulics. You can see between these two oil lines, you see a hydraulic line down there that comes right up into the bottom. So when you are sawing, the hydraulics is pumping the piston inside this oil pump, and it is bringing it out of the tub and pumping it into the saw motor. If you go back in time to the winter, I threw a chain one day, and the machine did not come with this washer installed. That is a big washer, and that prevents the chain from flapping around, which mine did because it sliced my oil line right in half, and that's bad. Well, I wanted to simply change out this line. It was a hard plastic, but I couldn't find the size anywhere that I needed, because this had a different fitting on it at the time, and this had to be outer diameter, the tube shoved inside of the fitting. And on this side, it had to be inner diameter. It has to slide over top of the, I guess, I don't know, here's an old automotive term, the Buick ball of this end, so that you can crank the nut down on it. And I couldn't find any tubing that fits. So my solution was to use this fish aquarium tubing. It's just a soft, pliable stuff, and it was working fine until it stopped working fine. And here is the crack. Let me demonstrate it to you. This is how you prime it. You push down on this plunger, and you'll see the oil come out, and then the oil starts coming out of the crack there. See it out of the top of that line? Oh gosh. So it shot oil while the saw is running. That oil pump is pumping oil, and it was just shooting oil out all over the place. And look in between the two oil lines. Do you see the hydraulic line down there? So this oil pump runs off the hydraulics, and that's how it moves that piston inside to take the oil out of the tank and then push it through this line into here. The other problem, if you recall too, while I was fixing this, it was a calamity. I took the fitting off to help me put the line onto it, and I didn't know it, but inside each fitting there is a spring and a BB, and then on this side there is a BB and a spring. And they work back and forth of each other to create the suction and the discharge for the oil pump. Well, when I took the fitting out, the spring shot out and it bounced all over the place, and I couldn't find it. And I was like Ralphie looking for his glasses, right? And I stepped right on top of it while I was looking for it, and I smashed it. And and I lost the BB. It was just a calamity. So, Bob had sent me a new pump to install all that, but I was still having trouble with the oil lines. So Bob, I'm talking about Bob Nelson from Metsa Machines. He has now sent me the official set of lines for my machine. He has sent me, well, I'll show them to you. They're right over here. So he has went ahead and set all this up. He's sent me a new pump already connected with the lines. And see, this one has that outer diameter fitting. You like push in that sleeve and pull back on the line, they pop right out. And then this fitting goes into the tank in the bottom of it, and there's the plate for the saw motor. Okay, so here's what I'm doing though. I'm going to need to do some modifications to get this line into the bottom of the tank. And I'm up against it with production right now. We're having a break in the weather, and I want to get as much of those logs made in the firewood as I can. So tonight I am just going to replace the discharge side. I have to use the fitting on this one though, because this is an outer diameter tube, and he already has it fitted to the plate. So I'm just going to install this onto the saw motor. I'm going to prime it, and then I'll be ready to make firewood in the morning. I don't think I'm going to be able to hold this camera and then work with this with one hand. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to take off the chain and the plate, and then this line is zip tied to this bar. I'm going to snip these off. I'm just going to remove this line, but now I know not to let that spring and BB shoot out, so I will protect myself there. I might even lay a tarp underneath here in case I do drop it. I'll be able to find it, and we'll put the new line on, and then we'll see how it works. All right, guys, stay tuned. So here I have pulled this off. I have the plate removed, the bar and chain, and I'm just going to pull this all the way out. And this is the old line, and now we'll install the new one. And maybe this will be worth filming it. I'm going to go ahead and take this out, and that way if the spring shoots out in the ball, we can all experience it together. I'm going very gingerly. I'm feeling each thread. So, okay, it's broken loose. There's the spring. Okay, I'm getting nervous. I'm going to set down the camera for this, guys. There we go, guys. The spring, I got it. The BB is up inside of the pump, so I just need to put the spring into the hole and put this new fitting on top of it. This is exciting. Here we go. Success, I did it. So I'm going to just tighten this fitting down, and we're looking good. Okay. I'm going to put the tube in and put the bar and chain back on. This project should be done. Well, assuming that it works. And it's getting dark. I keep a rag with me. This is, if you ever worked on a transmission before, you know how you just get that grease on your hands and you can't get it off, and that's the same feeling I'm getting with bar and chain oil. So I have the bar and chain on. I got the oiling plate on. I have this tightened. Probably my biggest criticism of this machine is the bar and chain, man. It is tough to get in here. It's got that number 4 hex, and it always fills up with sawdust. It's just hard to get in here, and you can't get a lot of rotation on your Allen wrench because of all the other stuff that's in the way. But here we go. The line is right here, and this is just like one of these doodads here. You just stick it in, and it sticks, and it's sealed. I think I'm going to have to get some... We're awfully close to the chain right here. I'm going to get me some zip ties in the morning, and I will zip tie this to that bar to keep it out of the way so that it doesn't creep into the danger zone. But let's go ahead. And prime this now and see if we can get this to pump oil to the saw motor. And here we go. There goes the oil. See it? I'm just pushing down on this plunger myself, and we're forcing the oil through, and excuse me here, this is tough, and into the saw plate, and there it's coming out. See it? So we are oiling, and we are set. Success. And the last thing that goes in is this adjuster. This adjuster goes in, and this limits how far that piston goes up, and you can control how much it oils. I leave it kind of loose because I need to see this thing oiling. I'm starting to get a little gun shy. Okay, and we are full, and I am not going to run this until in the morning, but I was just wanting to get this job done while the sun is low, and I don't have to worry about sweating as much as I am right now, because it's you know how you are when you're wrenching on something and the next thing you know you're just drenched in sweat. So that's what I'm feeling right now. And if you're asking why I didn't put the other side of this line on, it's because I've been a mechanic my whole life. And I think when you've turned wrenches long enough, you can see a problem coming down the road, right? And I just have a sense that this is going to take a lot more modification than just simply unplugging that one and putting the new one in. I think the bottle's going to have the hole enlarged, and I'm going to do it, but just not right now. I got the broken line fixed. I'm ready to start making firewood in the morning, and we'll deal with this later. All right, that's my logic. So that's how we do it, guys. I just wanted to show you. And there's the moon coming up in between the trees. It's getting late. It gets late early around here, I'm telling you. The mosquitoes aren't out though. That's nice, being that we live on Mosquito Lake here. But I just wanted to show you what I got going on. I'm supposed to get my truck loaded. I have a delivery tomorrow afternoon, and I think I'm gonna just go ahead and load it tomorrow. It's getting kind of late right now. It's been a long day. I also forgot to mention too, one of my people that makes firewood for me, I ran 2 loads from there today too. One got stacked, one is still in my trailer. So that has to get stacked tomorrow. And then I have a 3rd load that I'm going to be picking up in the morning. So I had thought, if I'm not making firewood, I'm still growing my inventory by getting it picked up and bringing it back to my place. I can leave it up there too, but it's just nice to have at the house. It is. And then with the winter time coming, it's just nice to where I can just run out there and load up my truck and head on down the road. All right, guys, just showing you another wrinkle of what makes the 405 a world-class firewood machine. All right, I hope everyone has a great day.